First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us and making out time for us. I am so much looking forward to this, and I am very sure this is going to be an amazing show with an amazing amount of learning. And I have followed your Twitter profile as well. I've seen your YouTube videos as well, and you're absolutely amazing and
Thank you
smashing,
so
sir.
much. Thank you so much.
Right. So, sir, we will of course talk a lot about markets today, but before we actually get into the real markets and everything, I'm sure, like our Trinker audience, there may be some people who would love to know your a little bit about your history. How did you get into stock markets, and how did you reach at this point, at this height where you are today in the stock markets?
So I started a bit early. I have a background where my parents were trading in stock markets, and my grandfather also was trading in stock markets. So we have a family background of investing in markets, trading in markets. So that literally helped a lot and got me early into the markets. So the introduction to stock market was done via family. Then my tuition teacher was also a very good person. He used to trade, invest like someone who is doing very well in market. We were not doing so well, but doing fine. So I used to compare the both the approaches and then got to know more about how things can be done, streamlined, and everything. So technicals were not usually that much in fashion when I started around 2002 2003. I was just helping out my parents by just looking at the newspaper events, the stock which are hitting 52-week high, 52-week low, top gainer, top loser, volume buzzers. So all the stuff which is there around in markets nowadays also. So I started with that via paper that is like a bit not so software friendly like it is nowadays. It used to take a lot of time to do that. Then later on, software help came and then started to follow charts, everything. Then things started to work out well. How breakouts are happening, how selling is happening in markets. So moreover, then if you spend time literally every day of your year trading markets, trading stocks, you get to know a bit more, or you get to know a lot about markets. So initially it was very difficult to get one series, one FNO series out of way, and I used to think, okay, this is very difficult thing to do. Then slowly, gradually, the more time you give to markets, more patience you develop, you literally learn something out of it. So I just read a tweet someone just did, that first you lose in market, then you learn in market, then you make money in market. So that is a pattern that I think everyone is following, or will be following. But this can be a bit shortened. This pattern can be shortened. People can learn first then losing. But yes, losing and learning is a lot fun if the losses are not much to say, to write on. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So it's like either you pay your premium to the markets by losing, or you can get some knowledge from somewhere and then cut down on those premiums later.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Right. Sir, if I may ask a little bit about your what is your favorite or core investment strategy philosophy that you believe in works the best, trading strategy or philosophy?
Sure. So I follow a couple of approaches. One need to be aware about what market is doing or in which phase the market is. So right now that market is in correction. So the best approach nowadays will be to follow the stocks which are making short term highs. So how to define short term high? You can pick any Fibonacci number of your liking. A 13-day, a 21-day, a 33-day, any will do. So pick stocks which are making short-term highs when market is in downtrend and then starts to move up. So stocks which are getting bought first will be coming into that filter. So that is the easiest one to do. Then among the same line, if you look for stocks hitting new highs after a downtrend or stocks coming back to highs. So that will be a totally new set of rules, because that will not only be a short term high, but that will also be a long term breakout also on charts. So that is one approach that can be followed. So the the knowledge or the awareness about where market is more important relative to the strategy that you are following. You cannot follow the same approach on the peak of the markets. So when the same this same strategy of short term high is followed, and the when market is at around peaks, so you will be getting a lot of failed breakout during that time. The stocks making highs during the peak season of market, or whenever the market is about to topple, you will be finding lot of stocks which are failing from the same scan. So presence of mind, or awareness about where market is in its peak and trough cycle is very important than the strategy itself.
Right, absolutely, sir. So that kind of gives me into the segue of the current market scenario. I would, of course, so I'd connect it to your current strategy and how did you deal with the markets. But before we get to that, what is your view on the current market scenario? I think everybody is just in a debate, and I don't think anybody honestly has a very good idea what is gonna happen because, like for the past week, it was up down every day, and today it was up down within the same day. So,
Yeah.
what is your thought? What is going on, and what is going to happen, and how did you deal with the correction that came a while back, and what is your plan going forward, maybe?
So, like you talked about what happened today. So, it was, yes, you summed it correctly. It was 3 day move compressed in a single day. Market initially went up, then they came down, then they again went up. It is an action which is usually done or completed in 3 day, but all the highs and the lows are not random, which were there today. So I just posted, funny sort of video in which I just mentioned Nifty target as 5,000, just to get the focus of people around it. But I have explained in it that how the move which happened today is not random. Similarly, not all market moves are random. All market moves are basically bound for some objective that they want to achieve. So that objective can be anything, starting with filling of a gap, hitting a range high, uh, hitting a range low, hitting previous day low, hitting a swing low. So basically, the objectives can be, to go after the other party. So if there is a bull run in market, it is going after the bears. If there is a bear move in market, then it is going after the bulls, taking their stop losses. Similarly, on this very thought, there is something called open interest in options and futures and everything. So when the market is in itself going after the other party, so that can also be seen in open interest, that sometimes the market does not stop any at any target which is visible on charts or anything. It just goes after the open interest. It makes sure that the open interest which is there in a particular strike, that sheds. So that literally goes after the bear or the option writer in that particular strike. It makes sure that everyone is out. So sometimes that can also be objective of a short term to a very short term move.
Right, absolutely. So, what was your strategy like during this recent correction? Did you come out in a little cash when you were expecting maybe market dip हो रहा है, or were you still actively trading and still finding breakouts and chasing them, or were you actively shorting the market? Like, what was your strategy throughout?
So I am basically a FNO trader nowadays. I used to trade in cash market till 2000, early 2018. Then I left it for a reason only, because that risk cannot be managed fully in cash market. Either you have to get out, or you have to buy. Those are the two options only. Then I focus on these FNO stocks, FNO strategies, and options. So my approach basically is to look for stocks which are having either a bullish trend or a bearish trend. So like right now there is auto stocks which are in focus or in stronger uptrend. So I'll like to do a call spread in them, having a put short also alongside, and look to play on a upside of for that stock. Similarly, I do bottom fishing in some FNO stocks which give a failure on downside, failure to move on downside. Like similarly, we have Bajaj Finance, which has given a breakdown recently below 5400 and came back into the range. So I built a option structure around that stock also. If I have a bullish view on index, I create some call spreads, some calendars based on the quantum of move I am expecting in a index. Let's say if you are expecting 200 300 point range in markets, then doing calendaring of options is quite a thing that can be done, which enables you to capture the short term decay in the options of the near expiry, and makes you in the stay in the game. It's not like you have to worry about the three moves that comes into the market intraday also. So my strategy is quite simple. Then to curtail my approach, or not to get too bearish or too bullish at one point in time, I limit my number of positions. So let's say if my account allows me to take 10 positions, I'll take three at a time. I'll have three open position at a time, and I'll keep the buffer for next market cycle. So that in turns mean, let's say we are near to the lows and I have a view of short in the market. So I'll be having three short positions max. And let's say market turns from there, then I'll not be out of ammunition to look for a long trade. I'll be still having a lot of buffer in my account to look for long trades. And if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong in the one third of the size that I've taken. And that can, in options, can very well be the losses can very well be minimized by doing the counter trades, or selling the options of the direction that you have bought.
Right. Sir, I think strategies तो I think बहुत होती हैं, but I think like you said, limiting your position sizing and that is something that I'm sure not many of us are able to crack, including me. I know I for a fact I don't know. मेरे को लालच आता है, मेरे को कुछ दिखता है. And then even if I'm trying to stay like for me throughout this correction, I was a little scared, so I was kind of trying to sit out in cash, but वो कुछ दिखता था, लालच आ जाता था, and I would go for it. So can you give us some tips on that psychology, how to curtail that greed कि जब कुछ दिख रहा है तो वो कैसे, like do you like if you, let's say if you have three trades going on but you see something even more slightly more lucrative, so how do you control yourself from taking that?
Once you are full all in a view, or for a view, let's say you have ability to take 10 positions in one direction, or ability to take 10 shots. Once you take 10 shots and the market turns against you, then you will automatically stop taking those 10 trades, and certainly try to come back to a size that can be easily managed by the account that you have. So this comes with experience. This cannot be taught. If I say that you take one third exposure, then people will say that okay, but what I'm going to do with the rest of my margin that is available? उसका तो free का पैसा लग रहा है, पैसा नहीं लग रहा, वो opportunity के लिए है. So one will get an idea when they are doing it. Maybe doing it full time, not for fun, because most of FNO trading is being done in that fashion only, that either it works or doesn't work, then anyway I'm going to get a salary at the end of the month. So that jaane do chalta hai approach is more. And I think serious players usually get this discipline over a period of time, because they have to. Else this market cycle is, I'm not talking about something new. It keeps on happening on different time frame, from short to medium to long. um, Markets keep on going up, the quantum changes. Market can remain in a range, let's say 15,000 to 16,000 on a period of 6 months. And if they stay in a range and you are always looking for breakdown at 15,000 on full account size, if you are always looking for a breakout on 16,000 for full account size, and it does mean reverting every time, you will certainly understand that okay, there is something wrong in the approach that you are taking in the markets. So it will come over a period of time. it will not come by me saying that okay, use one third of the margin and wait for next opportunity. It may not be there, or I mean, बहुत लगता है कि ले लो. I mean, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So it is a practice. It is a discipline that one needs to develop. मेरा comfort 3 पे है, किसी का comfort 4 पे होगा, किसी का 6 पे होगा, किसी का 10% cash पे होता है. Like you must be noticing people saying that okay, we are sitting on 15% cash on our portfolios to handle this bear market. So do you really think that 15% cash on a 85% investment is really something that is going to make things good? I doubt if 15% cash can help a lot. So सबका अपना comfort level है. मेरा अपना comfort level है. I do this one third of positions at one market cycle, then next positions on a different set of market cycle. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely, sir. Sir, what is your general risk management strategy? Matlab, of course, one is position sizing, but do you also take, matlab, do you have a predefined stop loss that you go with all your trades, or do you go by technicals and have a slightly adjustable, flexible stop loss that you go with maybe?
So, see, for intraday trades that I take on futures, the stop loss is defined before taking the entry, and it is not more than 2% of risk on a 10 lakh size. So, basically, 10 lakh per 20,000 ka risk I take. If it is more than that, that is a rejection criteria that okay, this trade is not fitting into my risk management. So, not more than 2% risk I'll take on any trade. Then, second is if I'm entering into an option trade, since that becomes a positional view on a stock, that also I try to manage it via a view that okay, if it goes against my expected direction, then how I'm going to escape this trade with a loss of 20,000 or lower than that. So risk management is totally then a factor of number of positions and the amount of risk that I take on a trade. So yes, both side it works, both ways. Yes.
Right. Great, sir. Absolutely. सर मेरे पास अभी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं. आई विल कीप आस्किंग माय क्वेश्चंस. मीनवाइल मैंने एक ट्वीट पिन किया था जिसमें कि वी हैड आस्क्ड इन द स्पेस कि टू आवर ऑडियंस इफ दे हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू दे कैन लीव देम इन द कमेंट्स. सो कुछ एक क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास आए. आई विल जस्ट क्विकली रन देम थ्रू. एंड ऑल्सो फॉर द ऑडियंस, सर ने अभी अभी बात करी थी एक वीडियो की जो उन्होंने अभी अभी किया था. दैट ऑल्सो हैव पुट द लिंक द ट्वीट. आई थिंक सर एम आई करेक्ट इन दैट थ्रेड? दिस इज द
Yes.
थ्रेड यू वर टॉकिंग
Yes.
अबाउट, राइट?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've put that as well for those who are interested. Please do look at it. Right. So sir, हमारे पास जो दो questions अभी तक आए हैं, one is what is your view on Nifty and Bank Nifty? So of course we discussed it briefly just now, but specifically Bank Nifty के लिए क्या अभी do you have any thoughts? And Nifty maybe like what do you expect is gonna happen now after
So
this today?
today actually is not much of. I mean, it doesn't move a needle for index anyhow. Bank Nifty is actually the relatively stronger one on weekly charts. It has not broken the lows of 7th of March, while your Nifty has broken and is in a process of doing a retest of that breakdown. So if it is able to come back into the range, then a move above 15,890 odd can be considered as a failed breakdown of Nifty also. So that way it can fuel up a short-term up move, and I think that's the view. If we go below the current lows, तो down है और बाकी 15,890 के ऊपर आते हैं, तो this whole move on Nifty also can be considered as a failed breakdown. By the way, in a bear market or in a downtrend market like one which we are in right now, so these index levels generally hide everything which is going in the background. So major stocks will go down by 50, 60, 70%, and these index level will stay within 20, 30% of all-time highs. And whenever there is improvement in the global scenario and everything which is negative, these are going to be the first one which are going to be hitting new highs, and most likely there will be new set of stocks which will be doing that, and not the old set of stocks which did the previous time. So this is something which happens always, and maybe most likely will happen this time also.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, that was kind of going to be my next question. I think Aaj Nifty, although Nifty did end up in green, but Reliance, the big daddy of all stocks, was like one of the heaviest. I think the heaviest loser in Nifty 50.
Absolutely,
So,
yes.
uh, and of course, we also have got a question from Vivekanand Jha, sir. Your views on TCS and Reliance पे आपके क्या है? So maybe we can cover Reliance in general a little bit and compare it to what's going on with the index and how it will
Sure,
have an
sure,
impact.
sure. So Reliance, if it starts to move about today's high of 25.25, then I think it has the strength again to move up to level of 26.70. If it falls, I mean, if it wants to fall below today's low, then I think 23.70 is the next level where it can go till. TCS is actually stock in news, I think, now because of the Accenture results that came in today. So I think that is also most likely headed toward 33.50, which is a gap level, then maybe 34.70 also. So that is looking positive for short term. TCS is looking positive. Reliance totally depending upon if it is able to take out today's high.
Right, absolutely, sir. Sir, next question Bhavya ji se aaya hai, and he's asked, when do you think markets will bottom out completely in order for investor to buy? At this point, what are your expectations going forward? So हमने इसको cover किया है. What I want to ask in this question, sir, is, do you think this is the right time to slowly start accumulating maybe, and in general, do you believe in maybe SIPs as a strategy, or do you would people to rather wait for an up move back again and then start accumulating?
So SIP is a totally different set of thing because if you do a SIP in stocks which you own and they are dead literally, then that is not going to work. But if you do a SIP, let's say in a mutual fund in a down market, then I think that is a totally different thing. So what I was doing, let me tell you what I was doing. I started doing SIP in Parag Parikh mutual fund, and when this market was falling from mid of April, every day from April end, it started to fall. 100 down on SGX every day. It was opening 100, 200 down. So what I was doing is, I was putting in money every day before 11 on the days when Nifty was opening down 100 points. Then I stopped at around 15,800 on break of that. And I was expecting that okay, market is going to come around 15,000 level. If it starts to do the same, that opens up 100 point down, then I'll do repeat the same process of adding lump sum on the down days. Then I have a 15-day SIP for that mutual fund, so it averages out everything. So that is a one way of averaging it down on mutual fund. But on particular stocks that we own, I think we will end up adding the one which is down the most, and that is the bad strategy to do on stocks because that is our nature. We will try to average that stock which is down the most in our portfolio to bring the average down, bring the average cost down. It will make us feel good that okay, now it is not down 70%, it is down 50% from my cost. So, I mean, that is a natural thing that will come out of us doing averaging or SIP on the stocks that we own.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, sir. Okay, sir, next question Sandeep sir ka hai. Should we add mid and small caps or large caps, and which sector to add? Can you please give some names of small and mid caps? Sir, do you
So,
yeah, yes, yes, sir.
yeah. So, like every time in such market conditions, usually the large cap comes up first. Then, I mean, Nifty stocks come up first, then Bank Nifty, then mid cap, and last one are the small caps. So that should be the order of preference for him also. Also, currently I don't have any stock in my watch list which can be suggested from the mid and small cap space.
Right. And sir, also a related question is sector wise, do you see any like today? In fact, if talking about today, I think auto and IT were kind of on fire
Yeah.
uh, after a long time. So, do you have any? Unless do you see any sector? Is it a time that are these gonna be the leaders going ahead? Do you think, or should we wait and watch more, or do you think any other sectors that maybe some may be showing a right signs?
Auto is a leader from a long time now. I think ever since that government regulations around that export of steel came about. So auto has been outperforming from that particular day. Then this commodity coming down and global pressure from central banks around commodity is also helpful to them. But I think a day performance does not define what is going to outperform for next 6 months or a year or something like that. So that needs to be reviewed on different time frames every time we do a review. So that is not a day call, but yeah, if you want to talk about a day call, then I think this approach works well. That which a sector which is having a good day, those stocks should be looked into for longs, and the sectors which are having a bad day should be looked out for a short.
Right, absolutely, sir. सर एक स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन और आया है इन केस यू ट्रैक इट वीड लव टू नो योर ओपिनियन अदरवाइज वी कैन ऑफ कोर्स स्किप इट वन द क्वेश्चन इज ऑन रेट गेन एंड इफ यू हैव अ व्यू ऑन इट
Okay, let me just have a check on that.
श्योर सर
So rate gain is a new stock which got listed, right? So new IPO which came about in market. So I think it is having the same fate like everything else. So it is trading at all-time lows, and so technically, though it is weak only, and it is also 50% off from its high. So I mean,
राइट
nothing to talk about
राइट
on this stock. Yeah.
Absolutely. So next question is something more on lines of you are, of course, I think at heart you are a teacher and you want to, share your knowledge with the world. So for us, and I think a lot of I ask this question almost every day. Like a lot of us who are listeners here, I think we belong to the COVID generation of stock markets, where we have just we started in a very good time, and that is kind of unfortunate for us maybe. But this correction is something that we are seeing for the first time. So what is the most crucial thing to maybe keep in mind in such markets?
So one thing that I will to tell you will be that don't lose hope. If you were able to get out, then it's fine. You are saved. If you were not able to get out, then also don't lose hope. Things are like this only in market. What is the best approach that you can do is you can churn the stocks that you think are not good, that are fundamentally weak, and you just entered for the short term gains. Now since every stock is down, you can do a switching. So let's say something is down 30%, your stock is down 40%. So don't feel bad, you can always get back on the high note again if you do the right set of you get the right set of stocks again in your portfolio. So do the churning, use this fall. Don't get stuck with the losers thinking that this dud will only give you recovery. You can always get a new stock at a same discount which is applicable across the market. So everything is down. It's not like your stock is down. So churning will help you to get back quicker, and don't average your losers if it is a real loser that you are holding. So don't average that stock just to get out at cost. That is not the risk worth taking. Follow a process, follow a technical process, or follow a fundamental process. Build a process, actually. That is the thing. And build your own process that suits your personality. My process may suit someone who is doing technical trading. Maybe don't even suit him also. And someone else process maybe will be best for you. You can just dabble around, think about what people are doing, approach people how they are approaching markets, then try to pick what is best fit for you out of all the conversations that you have. So build a process around that, define rules, try to build again, and you will get back. So इसमें मार्केट में चलता है अभी कोई म्यूचुअल फंड थोड़ी कोई सब कुछ बेच के बाहर आ गया. कोई HNI इज नॉट 100% कैश. ज़्यादा किया होगा, 5% कैश किया होगा, 10 किया होगा. सो इट डजेंट मैटर इन लॉन्ग टर्म. चर्निंग कर लो वापस, यू विल गेन मोर. या देन यू लॉस्ट. सो ऑल्सो देन देर इज़ अ सिंपल, उसकी तो बैक टेस्टिंग की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है. Market always goes up and hits a new high. So it has happened in past, it will again happen in future.
Right, absolutely, sir. राइट सर, एक और क्वेश्चन हम लोग के पास आया है. व्हाट आर योर व्यूज फॉर मेटल सेक्टर? फॉर एग्जांपल, सेल इज 50% डाउन फ्रॉम 88 एंड इट्स अ गुड डिविडेंड प्ले. So, if you have any views on that, sir.
So metal stocks are actually forward looking than the earnings that they are posting. So they are giving dividends till they have earnings. When the earnings are gone in the down cycle, which is expected due to the crash in the prices of the underlying metals, the dividend will also go out. So dividend is, I mean, it is not a dividend play, so to say.
Right, absolutely. And sir, one more question is it's a stock specific question on Dynamatic Technologies.
Okay, just check.
Sure.
So dynamic technology, if I remember, it is a play on defense theme. So it will turn positive technically about 2100 if current market price is around 1750. So it will turn bullish about 2100 and the stop loss at that level will be 1675.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. Sir, a question here. What are your views on blockchain that would replace traditional banking system going forward? I understand you are mostly into technicals, but if you have an opinion on that.
Yes, yes. I have a good friend Ravi who is working on the blockchain technology, and I think
Okay.
today's Economic Times there was a headline that RBI has asked the main banks to work on blockchain technology to prevent frauds and everything. So it is a very good approach which is there, and very big market that is also available. It is something it will tokenize all the assets that are available like FDs or your real estate or everything that is being put upon as a collateral to banks. And when blockchain technology is implemented, then there will be only one loan that can be taken against that asset, and it will be tokenized and will be applied on a legal sort of thing, and it cannot be given as a collateral again. So the frauds like Nirav Modi scam or Harshad Mehta scam, they cannot be repeated with the help of this technology. So it is a most welcome thing that can be done and should be done.
Right. Sir, an additional question. So we just like this came out now. So I was up until I was on the impression that you are like full scale technical way included. But what else do you track beyond technicals in your trades? Maybe like do you look at macro factors? How much of it do you factor in? And what maybe if like if you use screeners, what are your favorite fundamental things to look at?
So, I am not looking at in depth fundamentals, but just the outlet like this blockchain thing. So it's making me sound intelligent also at the same time, but having a know-how about how things work, the common sense part is something that can be brought out by just reading out the headlines, headline numbers, how the guys on TV are talking about how the managements are giving interviews. So there is a CNBC running every day on my background. TV interviews are always there from management, so I just throw in a air that okay, what are they saying? What is their outlook? So I mean, things just settle down. The approach is being built like that. So ये टाइम के साथ अपने आप ही वो सिक्लिकलिटी में यू फिट इन थिंग्स देन यू लुक एट द चार्ट्स जैसे मैं रिजल्ट ट्रैक्शन ट्रेड करता हूँ सो लेट्स से सम मैनेजमेंट कम्स ऑन टीवी एंड जस्ट गिव वेरी रूजी पिक्चर दैट ओके हम तो एक ही साल में सब कुछ बदल देंगे और झकास हो जाएगा सब कुछ but what you see on charts is that the stock opens higher and closes at the lowest point of the day. So that just tells you that the market is not believing into the management, and whatever they are saying is there is something not good about it. So listen what they are saying and then see what market is doing gives you a totally different clarity of thoughts of what is happening in market and what you should be doing.
Right, right, absolutely, sir. Sir, एक और sector which I would love to have your opinion on is the new age companies, maybe like what has happened to Zomato, Paytm, and जो हमारे IPOs अभी there was a frenzy of IPOs जो कि उस bull market में आए थे. And in general, they have, of course, the market is falling, but they have been like overwhelmingly doing bad. So, do you track as a sector, if we can call it new age companies, and if so, I mean, they are in a separate league altogether where their valuations are like beyond, human imagination. But what is your view on that in general, sir?
I mean, they have not done something extraordinary. They are doing what market is doing. So, like a Paytm is doing what Reliance Power did at that time when it got listed, hype and then fizzled out. So the charts are also replicable. एकदम exactly same है. Reliance Power also never crossed the high. Paytm also has never crossed the high. Then other stock like Zomato, Nykaa. I mean, everyone is doing their own thing. Some are very scalable products. Some are doing this and that. But everything was working as per charts only. And when there was a breakdown below the listing day low, everything fell apart. So basically, it was a game of demand and supply after that. Then people have a memory that okay, once they are in loss, then they start to sell. Then in a bear market, there is no limit to where the prices can fall. So it was all getting capitulated with respect to how prices were doing, and prices were doing what market was doing. So it is all in sync. They did nothing extraordinary to get the hate of market, and I think they are giving good bounces also in between, like other stocks are doing. So they're just now a part of market. They will get synced in over a period of time, and they will be like any other stock. So yeah, I mean, no hype. I mean, they are just like normal stocks. So yeah,
Right. Sir, I have a few rapid fire questions for you if you're up for it.
sure, sure.
All right. Sir, who is your favorite trader or stock market personality in general?
I hate many people, so to say, but
Okay.
I love many people also at the same time who do very good in market. So I have a very good friend circle who trade really good. So people like MK, Sunny, Rajabhai, they are there who do very good in trading. Then I hate people who are double faced, that okay, they will say something on market and they will be selling the same stock behind your back. So there are I mean a lot of people like that also that I know. So yeah, that's it.
Right. Favorite book on stock
Favorite book.
market
Favorite
or
book.
in general also will do. Yeah.
I have a compilation of books. So I read that CMT curriculum book. So it is a compilation of many books. So I love that. It has literally everything. It touches every aspect of technical analysis, all the fields also.
Right. Your first ever trade that you took, what was it, and what has been your favorite trade? Or let's go one by one. What was your first trade ever that you took, sir?
So when I was a sort of kid, I suggested Federal Bank and Karnataka Bank to my parents that you should buy this one. It is hitting new highs. And just a few days after they bought, there came a news about rights issue being announced by both the banks, and they hit back to back 20% upper circuit. That time I don't know why market was so confused about what right issue is and something like that. So but eventually they both came down to the cost also. So we exited at cost. But yeah, it was very nice to trade them, then learn about right issue at the same time. So I mean, a lot of information was not available that time, so maybe market reacted to it that way.
Right. And what was your, worst ever trade that you took, or the biggest loss, maybe, or something that you really regret doing in the stock market till date?
I traded in a company on from Jaipur, Om Infra or something like that. Om Metal and Infra, something stock which is Puranju's favorite. So I hate it because it gave me the biggest loss single day, and another trade I took that day also gave me a big loss. So that day I realized that okay, there is no stupid risk management in place in markets. So in cash markets, I mean, you cannot, if you go wrong in a view, you have to exit only. There is no second way out. So from that day, I started looking out for things that have a better risk management in place in case your view go wrong. So that is why I'm more of a FNO trader right now.
Right. What was the best trade ever that you took, and like your favorite thing ever that has happened, and you still remember? It may be your first trade ever because, of course, that was a great recommendation. But what is one trade that you maybe secretly or openly are proud of that you did that?
I traded in Bombay Burma BBTC. I traded not a single day. I traded it multiple times from a level of 200 to level of 2000. So it was a stock which picked up a trend after it was mentioned by Varinder Bansal on CNBC, and that stock picked up a trend for multi years, and it just kept on going, giving you very good entries, very good exits, and very big intraday daily charts. And everything was perfect about that stock. So I made a lot of money in that stock, and yeah, all thanks to Varinder for highlighting and getting momentum into that stock also.
Right, brilliant, sir. What is your favorite sector that you have to trade and that you track maybe the most, or in general you have a liking towards, bias towards it?
I track four sectors closely: Nifty IT, Nifty Auto, Nifty Metal, Nifty Pharma. Then of course Nifty Bank and Nifty itself. So six in total. So I track all six. There are few stocks that have never given me money in FNO. One is HDFC Bank, second maybe is ICICI Bank or Axis Bank also. So I don't like to trade in banks in general, but autos have behaved very well to my liking. Autos have behaved very well, so I like autos. I just realized, yes.
Right. Awesome. Awesome, sir. Thank you so much for that. What is your favorite indicator to follow in the stock market?
Volume. So volume is my favorite indicator, and add reference to it. It just turns everything into magic. So volume plus price reference, previous high, previous low, previous swing high, previous swing low, anything of a reference sort to volume is magical.
Right. Awesome. Great. So is mine actually. I also like go crazy about volumes only. But yeah.
Oh, nice.
Uh, Great. So this was amazing. We are kind of reaching our closing time. This talk has been. I really, honestly, did not know how did these almost 43 minutes went by. But before we actually part, I would love to ask you first of all uh, a final concluding remark, a parting advice for us and our listeners that we must always adhere to.
So, my advice only is to follow risk management at all times. There is nothing that changes after you enter into a trade. It, there is always a binary output of a trade that either it will work or it will not work. It will either hit your target or your stop loss. So you should be uh, very much, knowing about what the risks are before entering a trade, and don't start praying after entering a trade and remove the stop loss from that level that you have already put in. So always follow risk management. Give yourself a chance to perform in market. Market will reward you if you give yourself a chance. There is lot of scope, lot of opportunities, but it requires lot of hard work, lot of discipline, discipline to follow your process, discipline to make a discipline and make a process. So it requires a hard work. It requires initial few years to figure it out what you actually want, because if you jump into every opportunity to trade, you are not going to make money in markets. That is quite very simple. You must have seen that today also, that if someone traded a single move, be it bullish, be it bearish, he would have made money. If someone tried to chase all the moves in market today, he would have been butchered. So that today's move is in simple nutshell, gives you a uh, lot of things to think about what you want to do in markets. Be a single side player, a view player that make a view, trade that view, or just random trades that market नीचे जा रहा है तो sell कर दो, ऊपर जा रहा है तो buy कर लो. It doesn't work like that.
Right. Absolutely brilliant, sir. Thank you so much for that advice, sir. This is absolutely great.
Thanks.
Sir, one second thing I would love to ask you is please, please, please allow us to host you one more time. This was definitely, these 45 minutes were definitely not enough to learn from you, to absorb all the experience and knowledge that you have. Please do allow us to host you again.
Sure, sure, sure thing.
Right. This has been great. Thank you so much, our audience, for sticking with us all throughout these 45 minutes. Thank you so much, Deepak sir, for making out time for us and imparting your precious knowledge with us, your experience with us. This has been absolutely smashing. I hate to close it, but it's a closing time. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a really good night and a profitable day tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks, man. Good day. Bye.